Hagerstown's economy is moving forward with the support of our dedicated staff, passionate volunteers, committed businesses, and our community partners. Momentum is building with major developments that will grow institutional anchors to help transform our downtown. In addition, this administration has remained committed to taking a closer look at our plan review and permitting processes, identifying opportunities to make these aspects more business-friendly.
I am 100% optimistic about downtown and what's going on.
The city previously purchased 4353 West Washington Street, a property in our downtown that sat vacant, neglected, and was running into disrepair. The building has been sold to a team of private developers and is now slated to play a role in the urban improvement project.
The city stands ready with all levels of government and project partners, supporting the development to expand the footprint of educational opportunities in our downtown. This growth, coupled with the upcoming monumental renovations at the Maryland Theater, will spur further investment in the arts, education, and entertainment in our urban core. In addition to enhancing these institutions, the project will also include an outdoor plaza, another gathering place for our community that will extend the Hagerstown Cultural Trail.
Hundreds of people from the region came out to celebrate the grand opening of the trail, a half-mile brick paver path that connects the Arts and Entertainment District with City Park and the Washington County Museum of Fine Arts. The trail is a destination in itself, featuring artwork from local, regional, and even international artists. Pieces that not only represent our city's culture, heritage, and values, but they invite interaction and engagement. The trail earned one of the Maryland Tourism Awards, recognizing it as a top tourist spot and is being featured in international publications.
We're exploring more ways to build on this momentum. The city, in partnership with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, has requested support from the Maryland Stadium Authority to study the feasibility of two projects: a new multi-use center that could host the Hagerstown Suns, and an indoor sports complex. These projects recognize the economic value sports and athletics bring to the city, and it capitalizes on the many local youth leagues that have to travel to other communities for indoor athletic facilities.
The city is taking a closer look at how we support development, including our review and permitting processes. Over the last year, the Planning, Inspections, and Code Compliance Review Committee dedicated efforts to learn more about operations, conducting businesses within the guidelines of city and state codes, and ultimately finding areas of flexibility and improvement. This group, comprised of city staff, developers, landlords, property managers, and architects, engaged local stakeholders to gather feedback and make these changes. The Borough Box, German for Office Box, is connecting local entrepreneurs so that small businesses can grow and support one another in a collaborative setting. The membership-based workspace and resource center hosts professional seminars and workshops while providing tools that are typical in an office environment. The Borough Box is equipped with high-speed gigabit internet service, which the city uses as an economic development tool when pursuing leads with potential new businesses.
Our city faced our share of challenges with violent crime over the past year. Many of these incidents can be directly linked to struggles that are being experienced across the nation, things like opioid addiction, the drug trade, and mental health circumstances. Our police department is confronting those issues head-on with our community partners and finding solutions across multiple strategies. Our fire department is finding ways to improve response times in emergencies while working smarter with our available resources.
Law enforcement is working with county, state, and federal agencies to address violent offenders. These special investigations are taking drugs and weapons off the street in the greater Washington County area.
There's no safe haven here in the city of Hagerstown or in Washington County. None. We will be resolute every day to bring perpetrators of violence to our great city, and we will eradicate it. And just to those that are listening, we're not done yet. We're in the first quarter. We're not finished. So we got a lot more to come.
Your leadership in these law enforcement agencies and the men and women of those law enforcement agencies has been crucial and vital in addressing these kind of armed violent criminals. They have been relentless in their pursuit to solve these crimes and to address the problems that continue to be systemic throughout our region.
The Hagerstown Police Department has rolled out the Community Resource Officer program, dedicating a patrol officer to 4 specific neighborhoods of the city. These officers develop relationships and work with neighbors to prevent crime and resolve nuisance issues.
The department is in progress with upgrading the network of neighborhood cameras throughout the city. The presence of these cameras has proven beneficial in deterring criminal activity and addressing suspicious activity when neighbors have concerns.
The launch of the body-worn camera program has been a success, building trust with the community through the transparency of its operations. The department is now incorporating new technology to address human error. Deploying a taser will turn on all cameras in the immediate area. The record button will also be activated when running lights and sirens, and the camera goes on when an officer withdraws a firearm.
The city recently installed red light cameras to enforce 2 intersections. This technology is making officers available for proactive patrols while preventing the most dangerous, deadly traffic accidents.
The Hagerstown Fire Department now has a second new ladder truck in service. Truck 1 and its volunteer company moved to the east end of the city, sharing a location with Engine 3. This was a difficult transition for volunteer members to make after operating for several generations at the West Franklin Street station, but it also provides more sufficient coverage across the community.
Fire administrators continue to identify strategies to maximize resources and improve the safety of firefighters on their all-hazards mission, setting a goal of having at least 3 firefighters on each apparatus. When units are not engaged on emergency runs, they are focused on community risk reduction activities, training, building inspections, and other activities necessary to keep our citizens safe.
The chief has made it clear, in order to provide the highest level of service to our community, there must be a collaborative effort. This involves the city, Washington County, and the volunteer companies working together to move emergency services forward in a sustainable way.
I would continue to encourage collaboration, support of the volunteer system, and just continue to have the difficult conversations about how we can most efficiently deliver these services to our citizens. Next to Community Rescue Service, the Hagerstown Fire Department is the largest provider of fire rescue services in Washington County. We can't ignore that fact any longer, and we can't ignore the fact that we're not resourced to continue to deal with that problem in the future if we don't take actions now.
Our neighborhoods are the fabric of our community. Each department across local government works with our neighbors to foster the highest quality of life on each block. The city works to ensure there's a safe, adequate, and fair housing for all of our residents.
The City Fire Marshal's office recently condemned the Garden Plaza Hotel, concerned for the health, safety, and welfare of guests who are using the hotel as a permanent home. Now Mayor and Council is exploring a hotel licensing program, one which would ensure that these businesses are providing adequate and safe accommodations for all guests. It would also hold those advertised extended stay hotels accountable for providing guests with the proper amenities.
Vacant properties continue to be a shared concern, and the city continues to incorporate strategies to prevent them from becoming blighting influences on our neighborhoods. We've seen new ownership in some long-standing vacant properties that are now being renovated. And we are finding ways to take over properties that have been abandoned physically and financially by owners. Properties that continue to show up for tax sale and have no bids.
Police and code administration are tackling nuisance issues through the excessive use of city services ordinance, working with property owners to ensure resolutions to repeated code violations or police calls for service.
Public works staff and code administration are teaming up and resolving outstanding code issues that are not resolved by property owners in a reasonable time frame.
Through our Neighborhoods First groups, neighbors are connecting with one another and showing pride in their neighborhoods. We're encouraging home ownership in the city, providing incentives in the form of down payment assistance. This program is a loan that becomes a grant after the home buyer lives in the home for 5 years. It's funded by a state grant and matching city dollars.
The city receives the majority of its resources from you, our residents, businesses, and customers. We value your contributions, and we're responsible and accountable for how we use those resources to deliver quality, consistent services across our city.
Like other Maryland municipalities, the city is facing significant expenses, millions of dollars, to conform to the state stormwater management guidelines. Mayor and council have taken the first step to tackle this issue with a stormwater utility fee study. This study will determine a reasonable fee structure and will involve a great deal of participation with the community. The city has taken action to complete retrofit projects at Hager Park and Clean Water Circle, treating 21 acres of impervious surfaces. Work to relocate Hamilton Run at the golf course is also in the works.
Mayor and council are currently considering a tiered tax structure, one that would tax rental properties at a higher tax rate. This eliminates tax iniquity that exists between homeowners and renters. According to projections, this adjustment could result in a difference of about $2 more per unit each month on the tax bill, or no more than $10 per unit each month in those higher-end rentals. This approach also sees that multi-unit properties, whose tenants typically use city services to a greater extent than a single-family home, contribute a more equitable share of property taxes.
Demolition and cleanup of the municipal electric light plant continues. The property owner previously defaulted on an agreement to take down the structure, and now the city is intervening to finish the job.
The Edgemont Reservoir in Smithsburg continues to operate in a dry state due to concerns with the infrastructure. These repairs will be costly, but the city is working with the Maryland Department of the Environment to find the best path forward with the help of federal grants and low-interest loans from the state.
People who live, work, and play in the city of Hagerstown enjoy a high quality of life with beautiful parks, diverse recreation facilities, and unique amenities. The city makes it a priority to maintain, enhance, and expand these areas of our community with the support of partnerships and grant funding.
One of the most visible projects in our parks over the last year was the dredging of City Park Lake. For the first time in over a century, sediment and debris was removed from the lake floor, 18,000 tons worth. The material was safely disposed of, taken to the Washington County landfill where it will be used as cover. This process increased the lake depth up to 5 feet in some areas, creating opportunities for additional activities on the lake, like paddle boats, kayaks, and canoes for special events. Engineers are working on design plans to reconstruct Pangbourne Park Lake, which would provide similar benefits to park visitors.
We celebrated the opening of our 21st park in the city, National Road Park, located in the West End. The city accepted the donation of a vacant lot, one that started to become an unsightly dumping area. With some input from the neighborhood, this one-of-a-kind playground is now a popular recreation destination.
Coming in 2018, look for Thomas Kennedy Park, which will be created along East Baltimore Street, adjacent to the library. This area will serve as a tribute to the notable Hagerstown delegate, a patriot and a Christian, who fought for the right of Jews to hold public office in the state. The city is working in partnership with the B'nai Abraham congregation to make the park a reality, and renowned sculptor Toby Mendez is casting a bronze statue of Kennedy as the central element.
It's our collective action that makes a difference in our community. Everyone has a role in making a positive impact and moving Hagerstown forward. We challenge you to put down your smartphones, shut down your computers, step away from your side conversations, and get involved. From picking up trash on your street or getting to know your neighbors, to being a positive community advocate or serving on one of our boards and commissions. The only action that is too small is inaction. We challenge you to be part of the progress in the year ahead of us.